I saw on Facebook today an entire conversation that was begun by someone saying, "What in the world is Maundy?" What does that mean? The word Maundy is based on the Latin word mandatum, from which we get the word mandate. And so the best way to think about Maundy Thursday is Mandate Thursday. It's the night in which we remember Jesus' mandate to us, that on His last night He gathered with His disciples and broke bread with them and washed their feet and gave them a mandate. The mandate was to love each other the way He had loved them. "A new commandment I give to you. Love one another. Love one another as I have loved you." And so tonight we gather to remember that mandate. If you're visiting with us, we welcome you. We're glad you're here to remember. And the rest of you, we're glad you're here too. To set the stage tonight, how about we remember the scene? It begins this way. I'm reading from John 13. It was just before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come for Him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved His own who were in the world, He now loved them to the end. The evening meal was in progress, and the devil had already prompted Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under His power, that He had come from God, and that He was returning to God. So He got up from the meal, took off His outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around His waist. After that, He poured water into a basin and began to wash His disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around Him. And then a few verses down, verse 12. When He had finished washing their feet, He put on His clothes and returned to His place. "Do you understand what I have done for you?" He asked them. "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example, that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly, I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them." And so we gather tonight to be sure we know these things, but not just to know them, to do them. Let's worship. What we're talking about here tonight is the ABCs of the faith. Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? Love. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. This is the first and greatest commandment. The great commandment is to love. And do you remember what the author of 1 John wrote? God is love. Most of the statements about God made in the Bible, most of the statements any human can make about God for that matter, are similes or metaphors. God is like, analogous to, a fortress, a king, a husband, a tender mother. But here the writer does not use a simile or a metaphor. It's not God is like love. God is love. The essence of God is love. And Paul, even mean old Paul, understood this as well. In Romans 13, Paul says, "Love does no wrong to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law." Love is the fulfillment of the law. And then in the text Miss Jimmy just read, the beautiful poetic chapter on love, Paul says these three remain: faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. There are expressions of Christianity which would say the greatest of these is faith. But that's not what Paul says. Not faith. We can have faith in the wrong things. We can be wrong. And probably are. Just a question of degree. And hope, it's not hope. Sometimes our hope is misplaced. Love. The greatest of these is love. Love is at the heart of our faith, the most elemental and essential matter. Love is the A and B and C of our faith. You know, I love to speak about love, especially in generalities. Who can be against love? Everybody's for love, right? I like to speak about it as an idea. Let's just love. It's nice and neat and pristine when you talk about love in generalities. It gets messy, though, when other people are involved, with their faults and warts and all. I like the idea of washing feet. It's a good idea to wash feet. But do you know what you miss when all you do is dwell in the realm of the idea of washing feet? What you miss is feet. I think that's why I like the idea of washing feet. Because then I don't have to mess with feet. I like the idea of love. But do you know what's missing in all our ideas about love? People. We don't have to mess with people if we reside in the ideas of love. And yet love does not, and I would argue love cannot exist in the abstract, only in the concrete. Love demands a subject and an object, a source and a recipient. I think I have probably preached hundreds of sermons on the subject of love. But frankly, I find it more difficult to love one real person in the concrete than to preach hundreds of sermons on the topic. I think this might be the real reason why Jesus stooped and washed their feet on that night. Love is not expressed in grand ideas, but in small, mundane, sacrificial, often unseen acts of humility and care. Jesus did not speak the lesson that night, He embodied it. Service is not just this wonderful conception in our brains. Service is a real, dirty, nitty-gritty, often humbling practice. And yet that's the place where love begins. Love does not begin with our heads, brothers and sisters. Love begins with our feet. And on that night, when He showed them the full extent of His love, He wrapped a towel around His waist, filled a basin with water, and began to wash their feet. On Jesus' last night on this planet, His last meal with His closest friends, He said, "A new commandment I give to you, love one another as I have loved you." His last word to them was a word of love, the ABC of our faith. But that has me thinking. On that great day, when we all stand before God, and it's real, what if on that great day, what we discover is that love is not just the ABCs of our faith? What if on that great day we discover that love is also the X, Y, and Z of our faith too? What if love isn't just where our faith begins in kindergarten Sunday school class? What if love is where our faith finds its most profound expression as well? What if the first commandment turns out to be the last commandment too? And this love is not measured by how many times we thought about it or how many times we tried to express it in some fictive, perfect world. This love is measured by how many times we stooped to wash someone else's very real feet. This is the question with which we begin. And this is the question with which we end. This is our faith, this is our hope, and this is our love. But the greatest of these is love. It is the ABC, and it is the XYZ. Amen.